Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, the Cristo Rey Podcast, coming at you. Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, the Cristo Rey Podcast. All right, listen up, sports fans. This is the Extreme Cristo Rey Podcast, Athletic Sports Edition. How do you know it's extreme? Listen to that pep rally music and air horns.
And my voice has got 3 octaves. Oh, yeah!
Hey guys, welcome back to the 2020 podcast. Today we'll be interviewing Mr. Nash about our athletic program. And we have some of our newer hosts here today with Becca, Marta, and Daviana. And basically, Mr. Nash, can you just say what's up to the people, give them a hi, say how you doing?
What's going on with everybody, man? Good to be back. Good to have athletics back. To all of my new Cougars, welcome to the family.
Yes, sir. Love to hear that. I guess to kind of start this interview off, I just want to kick it off with, can you discuss some of the logistics you had to endure in order to make sure that we can have a sports season, even though it is a shorter season than usual?
Well, the biggest part of it was we don't have facilities. So facilities kind of present a big challenge for us from a practice standpoint as well as from a game standpoint. Because we rent everything through the Department of Parks and Rec, with Burliner being our indoor facility and then numerous parks being where we practice and play far as soccer and then tennis, it was kind of hard for us to kind of, get everything rolling, get everything approved. And then there were a whole lot of different entities that were working against each other. So we had to go through the Department of Parks and Rec. We had to wait to see what the governor said overall, and then we were trying to see what the Ohio High School Athletic Association were saying. So once the Ohio Athletic Association said, hey, go ahead, no scrimmages, but go ahead and play, we came back to the drawing board, and we talked about what it would look like as far as overall health. What was our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to be back in the school, learning and thriving every day a week. Athletics kind of posed a threat towards that, right? We're put in cohorts right now. We're put into specific groups. We're only allowed to be around certain people. When you get into athletics and being on the bus and being in different schools, it mixes things up. But when we sat back and we looked at how athletics helps, with mental health and with team camaraderie and also school culture and that thing, we think that it's worth it. We think that with the protocols and the different safety protocols that we have in place that we can make it happen. So we're going forth with athletics and we're going to make it happen. And even though it's a shortened fall season, hopefully it'll be the momentum to make sure that we can have athletics for the rest of the year.
You had brought up OSHA and how they were kind of one of the main entities kind of regulating what we could do this season. So for example, I know me and Rebecca are both playing soccer this year. So I know we have on schedule about 7-ish regular season games. Do you know or have you heard anything about regarding if we're going to have a postseason, whether that's the Ohio Christian League or OSHA?
The Ohio Christian League has said that they don't have enough high school teams to be able to have a postseason. So that one's out of the question, but OSHA's still up and going. I actually went to a meeting 2 days ago because they're going to do the draw virtually. The biggest thing is with us is going to make sure that we can compete. You know what I mean? We don't want to go somewhere and be a low seed and get really beat up on and that kind of thing. I really think that it hurts our teams and that kind of thing. But that'll be something that we put out to our coaches, to our teams. We'll let you guys decide. And if you want to go forth with it, we'll draw up. We'll go play anybody. We ain't backing down from nobody, and that's what we'll do.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Mr. Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Do you personally think that other schools are ready to start the season? Do you think they're going to follow the rules and not allow COVID to affect everyone?
I believe so. I've actually attended about 5 different games. I went to a football game last week. That was just kind of for fun because I love football and to support old high school teammate of mine and then a kid that I was mentoring and coaching back in Cleveland. So I went and supported them while I was back home. But I've been to 2 volleyball games, and then I've been to 1 boys soccer game and 1 girls soccer game. And from what I can see, a lot of the big schools are really following the protocols. And then the 2 smaller school games that I went to, it made it kind of easy just because how many people that they have in their school, the parents and everybody that's coming to support, how they're giving out tickets and that kind of thing. I went as almost like education because I wanted to see how people were running their facilities. And for me, it was important because this is new to everybody. What we're doing, how we're doing, will definitely be huge in how athletics will proceed going forward. It may be the new normal. We really never know. At least the new normal for the next school year. But in order for us to continue playing, we have to make sure that, we stay positive, test negative in order for us to play. So you got to do your part. You got to make sure that you're encouraging people to stay 6 feet apart when they're not in the games, making sure that people are reporting, kind of tracking who you're around. That's kind of why we went to the style of practice that we went to, being at Topiary Park, being a little bit smaller. That allows us to eliminate the transportation and how much we're in different places. And then that also allows us to do more skill-based things. So then you're able to monitor who's with who, when, and how, so that if there is, any kind of outbreak or any kind of COVID-19, scare within, at least our walls, we're able to say, hey, it was Andre, and Andre was in the group with X, Y, and Z, and we're able to eliminate those people or actively communicate with our Cougar community so that it doesn't spread out and limit what we ultimately trying to do, which is, like I said, move forward, be back in the building every day, and playing athletics from here on out.
Hey Cougars, welcome back. We are so excited that you just had a great first week of work, and we're super proud of you for everything that you accomplished this week already.
Whether you're in person or remote or in YPI, we believe in you.
Cougars, it's Miss Miller. Just remember, our office is always here for you, and we are willing and ready to support you at any time throughout the year.
As former student Jason Blankson once said, I love the first week of work. It's like Christmas, Halloween, and Thanksgiving all rolled into one. I look forward to the first week of work, 51 of the other weeks out of the year.
Woo! Go Cougars!
Yeah, Cougars!
WSP!
Ow!
Yeah!
So to answer your question, yes, I do think people are really following the rules because everybody wants to play. Everybody loves athletics, and it's that time of year to get after it.
Yeah, do you think that it'll be a problem since maybe a kid wants to play, but the parents are scared that that other people won't be following the rules and that they're scared that they might spread COVID?
I think that it'll be unique to every household. I think there's some people who understand the risk and everything that we have in front of us and what we're going to be going through. And I respect that. If a parent says that, hey, my child can't play this year because of these limitations or because of COVID or because I think that this may put my child's health at risk, I respect that. But for the individuals that want to come out and be a part of it, even if parents or faculty and staff and even our students have suggestions about how we can be more safe. Like I said, this is new. Nobody knows exactly what to do. We're just going to do the best we can with what we have and hope for the best and plan for the worst.
Okay, Mr. Nash, are we going to be able to have spectators this year?
There will be spectators, but that's where us being under the Ohio High School Athletic Association governor and body, we're limited with those things. A lot of the spectator guidelines are close family, friends, or people within the family. I believe that by the time we get to winter sports and we see exactly what's going to happen with like flu season, when they're projecting this whole COVID thing to pick back up, we'll be able to adjust and move things around from there. But the outdoor sports will be a whole lot easier than the indoor sports. The outdoor sports with the temperature and that kind of thing right now, it actually helps with spectators and what we can and cannot do. With the indoor sports, there's a lot of other limitations and there's a lot of things that we'll have to be a little bit more strict with who we let in and who we don't let in.
I think you literally just led me up to my next question, Mr. Nash, because one of my questions was like, can you speak on some of the differences between the different health protocols that are existing between outdoor sports versus the indoor sports? Because a lot of what's going to help us now with the outer sports is like you're not necessarily having to ingest and breathe in the same air, but like if you're indoor, it's kind of close confinement. So what are some of the steps you're seeing now of like the indoor volleyball games that we can maybe translate to our school to ensure that like we're keeping everyone safe?
Well, one of the things that we'll definitely do is we'll keep up with the temperature piece. And that's, basically with our athletes and our coaches and everybody else that may be involved, right? The other piece is making sure that we have signage everywhere and encouraging people that if you do feel a certain way, whether it's a temperature, a cough, even the slightest feel of uneasiness, you know what I mean? I encourage them to stay home. I encourage them to stay away. for the long term. The indoor piece is also, at a game, you've been at a game, you've been a spectator before, but you also has been an athlete. The atmosphere sometimes kind of takes over you, right? If somebody makes a big play, if it's a comeback game or if it's a rivalry game, people tend to come together and be close together. So who we allow in, how much space, how many people, making sure that we continuously encourage individuals to, social distance throughout the game, I think is going to be huge for our, moving forward with athletics. So the outdoor piece, you have more space. You think about McCoy Park and where we play, right? You can spread out all over that place, and social distancing can really happen naturally. You can wear masks. The temperature is higher. Also, like I said, being outside eliminates a lot of those things. The one advantage that I'll have is I live with a medical person. My wife's a pediatrician, and she continuously tells me things about, hey, what the board of pediatrics is saying, what are some of the best practices. And she's at one of the best hospitals in the country, a Nationwide Children's Hospital. So we're continuously talking about those things also. Nurse Ross in the building, she'll continue to give me things. Miss Fisher is continuously giving me different safety protocols. So we'll try to align ourselves with what the school is doing, along with what OSHA is doing. And then I'll just try to keep up on all the updates that the CDC and all those other individuals have in front of us to make sure that we try to stay as safe as possible. Like I said, there's no perfect way to do it, but we're going to do it the best way we can.
So I know I personally was very excited to play soccer this year. And I remember that earlier we were going to play soccer, and then it changed and we weren't going to have a season, and then it changed back to we were going to have a season. So has it been very challenging to try to keep up with all the things that they're telling you with the health department and what maybe Miss Nurse Ross is suggesting? Has it been challenging for you?
It's a challenge just to make sure that all the moving pieces are in the right place. Is it challenging to make sure that I'm doing my job? Not so much. At some point in time, I also think about myself. Not wanting to sound selfish, but I got a wife and I got 2 little boys at home. So I got to make sure I stay safe. And the way that, I approach my job is I want to keep you as safe as I want to keep them, right? I don't want anybody to go home or be sick or be in the hospital or take it home to a family member that may be a little bit elderly and body can't handle it based off of, all the stuff that they're telling us. So I try to stay up on it just for my own personal reasons.
Hello, my name is Maria Vallejo. I am originally from Mexico City. I work as a Spanish teacher in Cristo Rey Columbus High School. To me, it's very important to celebrate the Hispanic Heritage National Month. And it is important because it gives us the opportunity to celebrate 2 very important traditions. The first one is the Catholic faith, the fact that families gather together to pray the Rosario when there is joy, when there is sadness, when there is struggle. It is beautiful to just hear El Padre Nuestro, El Ave Maria repeated several times in one voice. The second tradition is that family presence in everything we do. It doesn't matter if it's a birthday party or if there is a death in the family, or if there is a graduation, or there is a confirmation. Family is always with you and is supporting you every step of the way. So those are the 2 traditions that I love very much from the Hispanic heritage, and I think this month gives us the opportunity to celebrate both.
The tough part of it is being that I can't, make sure that my seniors have a senior night and to keep the program moving in the right direction. To see all the beautiful things that we did last year, to see how much excitement athletics brought to the building last year, and to see how we were going to do things just a little bit bigger and better this year. That's my job. That's my passion. That's what I love. So if you want to talk about what's challenging, it's not being around you all. It's not being at games. It's not, seeing people go from point A to point B, and my teams get better with every game, with every practice, with every tournament. I was expecting big things out of our fall sports this year, and I know our coaches were, and I know you guys as athletes were, but also kind of integrating our, younger Cougars, our freshman class coming in. I think we had some great athletes, and I think ultimately we were building a culture. You know what I mean? That's been my biggest thing here. Change the culture, change the brand, let people know who we are and put us on the map, not just in Columbus, but put everybody on notice. So that's the challenging part, just to not be out there doing our thing, being Cougars, making a difference, just being athletes. And athletics has been a part of me since I was, as my grandfather used to say, knee high to a grasshopper. So to not be in fall season, it's just uneasy for me. So to get back to it, to be honest with you, I'm probably more excited than anybody else in the building. I can't wait for our first games. I can't wait, even if it is a shortened season. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get after it and try to, salvage the little bit that we have and celebrate the people that's been a part of the program, and then show people like what we about and what we're going to be about moving forward.
Do you have any, will we be able to do the whole live streaming of the games? Will you do a YouTube channel for the school, and will you will you do a YouTube channel for the school so that people can watch the games on YouTube, or would you stream it on social media, or how would you broadcast the games for people who not just go to the school but for who don't go to the school?
Well, to be honest with you, that's a great idea. Last year, our boys basketball games, we live streamed them on Facebook Live. We had a camera guy who always put them up and made them available. I would be totally open to starting a YouTube channel. We started a Instagram page for athletics last year, and then we have, like I said, the Facebook page. But starting a YouTube channel is really a good idea, something I really hadn't wrapped my mind around, if you want me to be honest. If there's anybody in this group or with this whole organization that would love to collaborate with athletics to make sure that happens, I'm all for it, man. The more people we can get to our games that know when our games are and know what, Cougar Nation really is all about, I'm all for it. So if you got any ideas, bring those to me. If you know somebody who is willing to come to the games and be a part of that, we'll make you specifically a part of the athletic department. You can put it on your resume and that kind of stuff too, if that's something you're looking to get into once you get into college. And like I said, I'll support that in any way I possibly can.
I think it's great the way you phrased that, Mr. Nash, because you were talking earlier about how this community, and I remember when you first came into the athletic director position, you were talking to me about how much you wanted to engage in just changing and shifting the culture. And I think you being inclusive of other groups being here to help athletics. For example, we have a photography club, so maybe that's something we can do. Hey, we want to mix up game. You send some of your students to take pictures or take videos, we want to help alleviate the different groups we have here. So another platform for them to show hey, we can take pictures on a good level is, hey, come shoot some of our stars, come shoot some of the initiatives we're trying to help boost our community through. And ultimately, I was on that boys varsity team that we were having our games live streamed, and I feel like it opened up a whole new revenue, because sometimes we were getting screenshotted, or someone was screen recording so that they can send their highlight tape to someone, or they can post their own highlight tape. For example, Sam is actually getting looked at by this recruiting agency because of the fact that we had our stuff streamed out there. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things I think would be great, that we can work with our coaches, the athletic director, and just various students who may have those videography skills to help enhance the community here.
And also to add on to that, Nehemiah, one of the things we're trying to do to take our program to the next level is I've actually been talking to Huddle this week for a subscription, so that we can not only get better competitively, right, but if somebody wants to further their recruitment or play at the next level, me having that college football coaching or college coaching experience, period. I know that was the biggest recruiter right there. I couldn't always get to Florida to see the quarterback that I wanted or see the sprinter that I wanted. But when they sent me that film, I knew that was my person, right? I knew from the first couple clips. So that's one of those things that helps take our program to the next level and even the playing field for us. So I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Hello, Cristo Rey. My name is Lena Renee, and I'm coming to you on behalf of the Melanated and Educated Committee. We are a club that is dedicated to informing others on Black culture and issues within our culture. If this is of interest to you, please join us October 16th for our bi-weekly meeting. An email has been sent out from Mr. Ewing with introductory information, as well as a Zoom link. It will be from 6 to 7 p.m. We hope to see you all there. Stay safe.
A follow-up question about the whole YouTube channel. So how would you do that? How, would you get members of our, like Nehemiah was saying, our photography club and making videos and posting them on YouTube? What would that look like?
So to be honest with you, I would just collaborate. I think collaboration is my biggest, that would be the catalyst to making that happen. I would create the channel, or I would collaborate with somebody who has more experience on that. So as we start to move towards winter season and that kind of thing, I think that would be a big thing that we could do. As we get back into the building and we put this out in a week or two, maybe somebody says, hey, this is my thing. This is what I would love to do. This is what I want to do in the future. And I'll get that person hooked up with passwords and that kind of thing. And then, we see if we got the necessary equipment. The good thing is we still have the iPads available to us as faculty and staff and that kind of thing. We get a stand, we get it recorded. It's actually pretty easy to start once you get it rolling. Just got to have the right personnel.
Okay, Mr. Nash, how can freshmen get involved into sports?
It's actually pretty simple. Well, one, it's knowing who is the leader of that organization, right? The best way that I say is look online on our website, right? Under the student life tab, there's a sports tab, and every one of our sports teams is listed there, as well as the head coaches. And if you click on their name, I'm almost sure that it populates their email address. But if not, your number one person is me, right? You send me an email and you say, hey, Mr. Nash, I'm interested in boys basketball. What are we doing with that? And there's been a lot of people who've actually reached out to me after I sent out that email saying specifically, hey, girls soccer is doing this, boys soccer is doing this. We want to try to move girls tennis to this season and we'll be running cross country. There were people that were saying, hey, is it too late? Can I join? When is practice? And I just try to respond to them within 24 hours. If not, respond to them right on the spot. If their coach is not in the building and they can't get in contact with them, have them send an email to me, anash@CristoRayColumbus.org, and I send it right back. With us being right in the building, stop down in my office, get to know me, knock on the door, send me a note, right, and come see me. I had somebody in one of our seminar classes today say, who is Mr. Nash? That bothered me a little bit because I've been in the building for a year and I thought I was a big presence. So I encourage people to come see me face-to-face. But if you can't come see me face-to-face or you don't feel comfortable seeing me face-to-face, then just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I was going to say to Daviana, it's been some freshmen who came out for soccer tryouts and they came hungry. We got one guy who actually made the team, Nava, and he's coming for spots. Like, you can definitely tell that he's willing to work hard and he's willing to put in the effort. And for example, our head coach is Mr. Wynn and our assistant coach is Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Wynn's actually in the school building, but Mr. Rogers is not. So that's one of the things that we have here is we can always reach out to Mr. Nash if you wanted to reach out to Rogers or just through Rogers himself. But that's one of the things is like a lot of our teams are looking for that. Are you going to be willing to have that grit? Are you going to be willing to make that balance in our life? Because a lot of the things at Cristo Rey, which you have not yet to learn, is that a lot of what things we do here is a lot about that student-athlete balance, And it's about, can you still pursue that? You say you want to play this sport, but at the end of the day, understand that your academics come first. So I feel like as a senior, that's one of the messages I would tell to like any of your freshman friends who say they want to be involved in sports is start the processes now to build those habits of like having set times for homework, having set times for this. Because I remember when Mr. Nash came in, he was like, how come our academics look so low with our guys' teams or some of the teams there? He was like, that's unacceptable. We were trying to have like mandatory study sessions and just overall things to be like, our athletes are athletes, but at the end of the day, they're also students, If we're going to elevate them on an athletic level, then we have to elevate them on an academic level.
And to add to that, you got to think about it from, if you are the top athlete in the school in your respective sport and you're being recruited, but you don't have the grades, then it's all for nothing. You can average, 20 points and 15 rebounds and 10 steals, and every college in the country could want you. If you don't meet those admissions requirements, then no college in the country can take you, right? So, one, I'm a big advocate for athletics. It'll be a part of your life forever, but it won't last forever. Those degrees, those diplomas, nobody can ever take those away from you. So, I'm a big advocate for what we do academically translates to how and what we do athletically. I try to communicate with our faculty about who's doing well. And our overall goal is to have 100% eligibility, but also to be the top students in the building. It's not good enough just to be the top athlete. I want the smartest, the biggest, the brightest to represent our athletic programs.
Hi, this is Mr. Wynn, the Director of Student Support. Do you know what helped land man on the moon? It was reports. And with those reports came progress. Speaking of which, progress reports come out at the end of this week, and you'll have access to them next week. Use this as an opportunity to get better, identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, and be able to reach out to your teachers for help. And you too will be able to land on the moon. Have a great day.
I feel like another question I have for you, Mr. Nash, is kind of like, I remember talking to you last year about some of the big goals you had for this year. Can you speak about some of the goals that you still have and you think we can still persist through even though we have this ever-changing season?
Right now, it's doing the best with what we got for our fall season, but it's also making sure that we got 100% attendance in class. It's making sure that we are still extending who we are and what we do in the building. So, I don't expect our student athletes just to be basketball players or soccer athletes or track athletes. I expect them to be leaders of organizations. I expect them to be giving announcements. I expect them to be student ambassadors. I expect them to be leaders on and off the field, courts, as well as tracks. So that's a big goal. I want us to be leading the way and not just being people who are causing issues in the building. Some of the other things are, like I said, 100% eligibility. I would love a couple more people on the National Honor Society. I want to send my first Division I college athlete to school. And I want somebody to come to our school for a signing day. Those are some of the short-term goals. Some of the big-term goals, I can't give them all to you, but, come talk to me and I'll share them with you. One of the other pieces that we have in place is our academic game plan, which we help to try to be proactive instead of reactive with academics. It's a time management tool that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. So making sure that our students are on the right page, making sure that we keep everybody eligible. And we did a way better job last year than we have in the past from a percentage standpoint, from just how many people were ineligible from fall season to winter season the year before I got there versus how many were ineligible throughout the rest of the school year since I've been there. I can't take all the credit for that. That's hard work on the students' part. That is our coaches encouraging people to get to where they need to be. But ultimately, that's our faculty and staff making sure that they communicate with our young students and teaching them up and making sure that they're the best. So big shout out to them and what they do and how they do it as well.
Well, before we close you out here today, I just want to say thank you. But my last question is will I ever get to see you on the court? We kind of have this little back and forth thing. That's how you can beat me in basketball. But I still haven't seen the facts to support that. So I just want to make sure, doing everything COVID related, safe, I might have to see you on the court, Mr. Nash.
I will say this. I'm the best shooter in the school until somebody proves me otherwise. All right. So I don't know if I could really get with you athletically. I'll be real with myself, right? I'm a little out of shape. But, if that's the motivation to go ahead and get myself back in the gym, then you got it.
I felt that. I just want to say major thank you to you, Mr. Nash. Everyone just want to know that Mr. Nash is the athletic director here at Cristo Rey. If you ever need him, shoot him an email. He's a really good guy. And just say this is going to be our podcast for the day. Thank you.
All right. Hats off to you all. Thanks for having me.
Podcast. This was the Cristo Rey podcast. The gloves were off on this one. It wasn't a league of its own. Podcast. This was a great podcast. I'd say it was a grand slam. It was a hole-in-one. This show covered all the bases. It was a total slam dunk. Our host really hit this one right out of the park. I hope I didn't fumble all these sports metaphors. Say what I did there with the word fumble, cause fumble is a sports thing. I think it's from football. Oh no, it's that pep rally music again. I can't resist it. I can't resist the beat. It's doing something to me. What's happening to my voice?
It's deepening.
Y'all ready for this? Sorry.